Hi, good morning. All right, this Bible verse is gonna have to be quick because there's a lot packed into it, okay? So I was in the book of Daniel 11, and verse 25, and it's talking about how the king of the north, which was in Syria, defeated the king of the south, even though the king of the south had an extremely great and powerful army, right? But it still fell. And what, when I was doing my Bible study and I was going to the commentary and everything, they said this is why you can't rely on man. You can't trust in man because not by power or by might, it's by his spirit, right? So God is sovereign, that he already makes nations rise and fall. That's what this is all about. God makes nations rise and fall. And what he reminded me was Joseph. So I'm looking at my notes, y'all. Y'all know that I'm looking down for my notes, right? He reminded me of Joseph and how where his downfall looked like it was really the uprising of the nation, right? So when his brothers sent him to be sold him off, and when the Pharaoh's wife put him in jail and all of those things, that put him through the fire, right? Put him through the fire. That was really the time for his anointing to shine. That was the time where his anointing came into play, and the uprising of Egypt came into play, which is what God already told Abram all the way from back in Genesis, even before Abram was Abraham, okay? He told him that his descendants would be locked up in a nation that was not theirs, right? But God, he already knew that for 400 years they were going to be locked up because the Amorites had not sinned enough, right? And so that's Genesis 15, right? And so, but with Joseph's anointing, it set him free and it set up the nation to be trampled, right? But also, God gave him the steps through his anointing. So through his visions, God gave him the step to rise up Egypt, right? But then guess what? When it was time for Egypt to fall, God placed Moses in position. God placed him in position so that right the very thing that the Egyptians were trying to not have come against them was the very thing that defeated them and put them in their downfall. They were killing off the Hebrew boys, but it was Moses who was a Hebrew boy, which was the one who set the people free, right? Through God, obviously, through his spirit, right? And so the Amorites had sinned enough at that time, 400 years later, which fulfilled God's covenant. But this is what I want y'all to take from this: that God will place you in position, even when you think that through the fire that you're going through, that the people put you through, that it looks like your downfall. It may be the uprising for a nation for their downfall. Your gifts will make room for you. So all you need to do is tap in during this season. Tap into your anointing, okay? And remember that God is sovereign, period.